Every single morning, I walk into my living room, and my dog does this. And for years, I thought, okay, she's just waking up, stretching her muscles. Like I do after a bad night's sleep. But I was completely wrong, and honestly, once I found out what this stretch actually means, it changed how I see my dog entirely. It's called a greeting stretch, and it's a message. Stay with me because this gets deep. Welcome back, or if you're new here, this channel is all about understanding your dog on a deeper level. Not just tricks and training, but what's actually going on inside that furry little brain. Today we're talking about one of the most common things dogs do, and one of the most misunderstood, that big, dramatic stretch your dog does the moment they see you. We're going into the psychology, the evolutionary science, and I'll give you a framework to figure out which type of stretch your dog is doing, because not all stretches are the same. Let's get into it. The science. What is your dog actually doing? First, let's understand the biology, because it lays the foundation for everything else. When a dog stretches, two things are happening simultaneously. One is physical. They're extending their spine, activating their muscles, and redistributing blood flow. This is called pandiculation. It's actually the same process humans do when we wake up and instinctively stretch our arms overhead. Pandiculation isn't just passive, it's the nervous system actively resetting muscle tension. Researchers believe it helps recalibrate the proprioceptive system. That's the body's internal sense of where it is in space. So yes, it has real physical value. But here's where it gets interesting for dog owners. Dogs are not solitary animals. They evolved alongside humans for over 15,000 years. And in that time, many of their physical behaviors became social signals. What started as pure physiology got layered with meaning. The stretch your dog does when they see you is often a completely different behavior from the stretch they do when they wake up alone. It's the same motion, but the trigger and the intention are different. Behaviorists call this a ritualized behavior, a physical action that gets repurposed for communication, and dogs are loaded with them. The greeting stretch. I've missed you. The most documented type is what's called the greeting stretch, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You walk in the door, your dog sees you, and instead of just wagging their tail, they drop into that low, chest toward the floor bow with their rear end in the air. It almost looks like a yoga pose. Ethologists, scientists who study animal behavior, note that this posture is a submissive affiliative signal. That's a fancy way of saying, I'm happy you're here, and I feel safe with you. The front low rear high position exposes the dog's chest and belly, vulnerable areas. Choosing to expose vulnerability is a trust behavior. They're not doing this to a stranger. They're doing it to you. Some dogs do this every single time the person comes home, even if they've only been gone for 20 minutes. Because to a dog, every return is cause for celebration. They don't build up resentment, they reset. You come home, and you are the best thing that has happened to them today. Pause. Let that land. Honestly, we could learn something from that. The stress relief stretch, resetting the nervous system. Now, not every stretch when you appear is pure joy. There's a second type, and it's important to recognize. Dogs experience chronic low-level stress, loud environments, schedule changes, separation anxiety, social tension in multi-pet homes. All of this creates muscular tension that the body needs to release. When you come home, especially after a long day, your arrival can trigger a decompression stretch. It's almost like a sigh in physical form. The stress they've been holding releases through the body. Dr. Karen Overall, a veterinary behaviorist, has written extensively about how dogs somatize emotional states, meaning stress, anxiety, and arousal, are stored in the body as physical tension. The stretch is one mechanism by which the nervous system discharges that tension. How do you tell this apart from the greeting stretch? Watch the whole dog. A greeting stretch usually comes with a wagging tail, soft eyes, possibly a little wiggle. The dog looks open. A decompression stretch might look slightly heavier. The dog exhales audibly. They might yawn right after. The eyes are softer, more relieved than excited. Both are fine. Both are healthy. But knowing the difference helps you understand your dog's emotional state when you walk through that door. The play bow, an invitation in disguise. Third type, and this one's a little different. Sometimes what looks like a stretch is actually a play bow. The play bow is one of the most studied signals in canine communication. It's been documented across wolves, wild dogs, and domestic dogs globally. The posture is nearly identical to the greeting stretch, front down, rear up, but the energy is completely different. With a play bow, you'll see a tail wagging fast and high, bright eyes, possibly a little bark or grumble growl, and the dog might bounce forward then back like, come on, let's go. Mark Bakoff, an evolutionary biologist who has dedicated decades to studying animal play, describes the playbow as a meta-communicative signal, a signal about signals. It's the dog saying whatever I do next, it's play. Don't take it seriously. It resets the frame of the interaction. It's an invitation and a reassurance. So when your dog drops into that pose and stares at you with those eyes, they're not just stretching. They're asking you a question. Are you in? The deeper meaning. What it says about your bond. Here's the part I want you to sit with. Dogs do not stretch to greet strangers. They don't do it to people they're indifferent to. The greeting stretch, the decompression, the play bow. These are relationship behaviors. They require a foundation of trust. In psychology, we talk about secure attachment. The idea that a person or animal feels safe enough in a relationship to be vulnerable, to express need, to invite connection. Your dog, stretching when they see you, is a physical expression of secure attachment. They feel safe enough to slow down, to open their body up, to signal their internal state to you. Research published in the journal Animal Cognition found that dogs show distinctly different reunion behaviors with their primary caregivers than with strangers or even familiar non-owners. The depth of the signal is tied to the depth of the bond. That stretch, it's not nothing. It's your dog saying, you matter to me and I feel safe enough to show you that. Hold on camera, let it breathe. What you should do when your dog stretches at you. Okay, so now that you understand the why, what do you actually do when your dog stretches at you? 1. Match their energy. If it's a greeting stretch or play bow, respond. Get low, use a playful voice, pet them gently on the chest. You're completing the social exchange. Ignoring it, walking past without acknowledging, is actually a missed communication moment. 2. Read the full body. Don't just see the stretch, see the tail, the eyes, the ears, the breathing. That context tells you which type of stretch it is and what your dog needs from you in that moment. 3. Never punish or ignore decompression stretches. If your dog is releasing stress when you arrive, they need that. Don't rush them into commands. Don't demand immediate sit-stay obedience. Give them 30 seconds to decompress. It matters for their emotional regulation. 4. Stretch back. I know this sounds silly, but getting down on the floor and doing a play bow back at your dog? Many dogs absolutely respond to this. You're speaking their language. It deepens the bond. Try it. Worst case, you look ridiculous and feel great. Dogs communicate constantly. They're always telling us something. The problem is most of us were never taught to listen. The stretch is just one signal, but it's one of the most beautiful ones because it's not about survival or dominance or resource guarding. It's purely relational. It's your dog choosing to connect with you. If you want to keep going deeper on dog psychology, I've got a video right here on why dogs follow you from room to room. Spoiler, it's also about attachment, and it's also not what most people think. If this video taught you something new about your dog, drop a paw print in the comments. I read every single one. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we do this every week. New video, new layer of your dog's world unlocked. See you next time.